Every month, back like 2 years, every month.
That's right. We've never seen that money, that's also, that one guy sells that money, that money. He was working that between, Senator Pace and Green.
It would be very,
And I actually heard Brent say, I did hear Brent say, if the Senate comes up with 25, we'll find 25. That was a Charleston.
Yeah, I did.
That's what it should.
There's two items.
We can have about, we can have about, so.
I got it on mine, so when it comes back.
Gene, these are the minutes that you emailed.
Did he indicate it?
No, it was a first. There was no letter. There was no letter. I mean, I did hear some case where I make a promise, but I did hear Delta Balls say, listen, if the Senate comes up with 25.
if they were in talk to us, yeah, we know about this. Move on. Well, I get it. We get back to
Lauren Howley's on a tight time schedule when she gets here.
Ask from the start.
Scoot over.
No, I'll be sitting all day long behind the computer, doing the paper. I might as well stand there for a while.
I think we need to get, has it been working? All this
Do you want
things
to
jump
chair
in
there
the
in case you
time.
decide to sit down?
She's got to go too.
Because I got
All right.
everything and I have to go to work.
Let's go ahead, I'll call the meeting to order in absence of Mr. Kennedy. Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
first item is public comments. Pat, I think.
That will be me.
All right.
Okay, where I live, you know, they have, up in the flats, we have those throughways that go by houses.
Pat, we don't know where you live. Might be a little-
Up in Camden Flats,
You live in Kansas Flats?
they have throughways that go through there, alleyways, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
There's one right by my house, and we keep an area clear there, but there's like 7, 8 trees that are getting out of hand, and it's on the throughway, which I was told belongs to the county. So I was told to come here and talk to you and ask what we need to do about getting rid of those trees before they do more damage than what they already have.
Is it an open street
It was,
or
it
it's a
belongs to
closed
the county.
street?
Oh, it's open, it goes through, but down below us, they don't keep it clear. And the county don't keep it.
People use that street?
No, because they can't. Because down below, which is, okay, here we go. Cecil Ramsey, Van Ramsey, the alleyway goes all the way through. But down there, they never cut or clear. Ours is. I mean, we do, but these trees are on the county property. And I was wondering what I need to do to either get them trimmed back or even cut down before they do
We'll have to
damage.
come out and see it. I'm just not familiar with,
Okay,
as far as I know, as far as the county commission, we're not over any roads.
well, it's an
I don't
alley,
know.
we were told, because Ronnie tried to buy it at one point, a while ago. And they said it belonged to the county and they would not sell. And I believe he talked to you about it. And you say they don't do that.
We don't sell streets.
Okay. So then it does belong to the county, so they need to do something about the trees before they damage Monica Baines trailers. I mean, they are getting so big, the roots are like up on the top of them. I can't even cut grass around it. Which I do, even though it don't belong to me, I do, because I like it to stay nice around the house.
When the power lines are close by,
Yes. If we have a bad storm, it's gonna take out my trees. At least the first couple of trees. Already contacted the power company. They won't do anything unless it comes down, takes out my power. And we were told, they told us that they are sent out once a year by the county to check areas that needs to be trimmed or cut or whatever. I've never seen it. But they're getting big enough, we can't even trim them back.
Well, we understand what your issue is. We will get back with you soon. We just need to go look at it.
Okay.
And, research.
Yeah, that's me too, right?
This world, we've never been in the tree cutting business. Normally, but you're correct in what you say. On power, they don't trim trees back until it falls on the line.
That's what we were told,
Yeah,
yes.
that's pretty much true.
Then-
well, it was for a period of time, but they started acting right away from.
Well, we just recently contacted them, and they,
You made that request of Mon Power to cut,
and they came out and they said they won't do it.
well, you're close by. We'll catch you and maybe lunchtime this week sometime.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely see if you just drive up there, you don't even have to have me. You can
Is
drive
there a
up there.
street sign there?
No, it's an alleyway in the flats, owned by the county. You know where the county line stops, right there by the church, okay? I mean, the city limits.
Right.
But there's an alleyway that goes down through there. They're all through the flats. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
They're all through the flats, but a lot of people just let them grow up.
Never established.
Just,
They're appropriated, they're on your maps. But they never, some of them have never been established. But they're still there on the maps.
they haven't been developed.
Right.
No.
Some of them, right.
So it's probably used, slim to none, using this property.
I mean, we've got gravel there where we can park up in there, but we always leave enough room, so if by chance somebody would, but they never would get through anyway, because down below us.
No, in the past, I recall some people tried to buy those right of ways, but you never know about the future, you know, it could be.
That's what I'm
someday.
saying. So they're not our trees, they're your trees. And they really do need to be taken care of before they wipe out something.
We'll get with you.
Okay, that'd be great.
Thank you.
See you at work. Thank you.
Darryl, you want to do anything?
Yes, I'm next then. Yes. Here for the rec center behalf. And just to give you an update of what we've done in the last month, we've got the prisoners, I'm not sure if you remember, for 2 months, the federal prisoners, we have 4 of them till October 10th. We had a major water line break. It was the main line that came up from over the hill. So it was 3 days, no water everywhere. But it has been fixed, and we've made a new manhole for it, and poured concrete and everything. We've cut more trees that were rotted down. Mr. Sopol's been a big instrument in doing that. And all the stuff that was behind the cabins that was stacked up over there for years has all been burned off. So, and the pipe's been taken away, so it's looking clean back there. The ice cream machine was broke. The last camp didn't get to use it. This gentleman that's from the prison fixed it, and the slushy machine, which those are very cheap for refreshments, and reserved for the rec center's concern on revenue, so it was worth it to get it fixed. The kitchen has been fully painted again, and a new drop ceiling is put in. I'm not sure if you've been familiar with the ceiling where the condensation melted or leaked on. That's gone. It's flat now. It really looks good, clean. We moved the air conditioner that was on the side of the kitchen this summer. The highest that it got heat-wise in the kitchen was 98 degrees. The day I had jury duty, I had to pay Rose White to come and work 4 hours so I could go to jury duty. That's the only payroll we had to pay. She passed out. Well, she has sugar issues as well with that. So I said, well, we got to fix this. So we called Rich's, and they said it would be $3,000 to fix. We fixed it for $200 because we had the inmates to come and fix it and put it up. And now it's absolutely, it's done wonderful. Cold, everything. Also, the cold air return was incorrect installed, so we fixed that problem. It was in the back room. If you remember those little storage rooms back there, that's where the cold air return was for the kitchen. So now it's over in the corner of the kitchen, so it's got more circulation. The GFI receptacles, Jack Heater, when he inspected us, that's the only gig that we got before we get open for camp, is in the lodgerooms and the cabins over the bathrooms. There wasn't GFI, those ones you reset. So we brought them, the guy from the prison installed all those in the cabins in Shawnee Hall. Fundraisers here, we're having an elimination dinner October 4th. It'll be at 6 o'clock at the rec center. And of course, I'll be hitting you guys up to hopefully purchase and buy, and maybe you help me before it. I hope you guys are willing to help that same evening, and the board members. Also, we're doing a buckwheat pancake breakfast. It's October 19th. I believe it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we're going till, I think, 1. Yeah, 8 till 1. These 2 fundraisers are benefit the new bathrooms, or the addition bathrooms, whichever you want to call it, and the office. Speaking of the bathrooms, the add-on, we've already cleared the ground because the air conditioner was moved, because that's where this is going to go. The ground's been dug down, and we're ready to actually start the pour. I have 2 private donations. One was $1,000 to go towards this bathroom. They, at this time, do not want to release who that was, but it's a private. They are willing to pay for the concrete floor and the pipes, which is roughly right at $1,000, was the estimate we got. And then I had another private donation of $1,000 for the metal, the roof and the side. And that was, I believe the bill was $985. It's in this list. Also requesting for you, I sent you a text earlier, and Brian, in the month about Chester Shoals. Evidently, before I ever became the director out there again, the board, Don Bailey had asked Chester Shoals to serve on the board. Chester had told that time to Don that he didn't think so. So then during the cool reunion, Chester came up to the rec center and said, hey, I think I want to do that now. So I said, okay. So I called Buck and all board members, text Brian. Mark Hess is the only one that wasn't able to ever touch base with, and they all said that's fine because they all knew about it. So we're asking if you would please consider him as the center district, and then all your seats would be full at the board. And he said he would do it, but please just do a year so he could try to see if he could fit it in 1 year term. Also, I'm asking at this point, this red truck that we bought when I was there before, we've had several people that wanted to buy it, and of course it is yours. You own it, and I'm asking, would you all be willing to either take sealed bids on it or sell it like we did the old cop car that we did Red Line's car? here and whatever money that generated, put towards this bathroom and office at the rec center. You're gonna get, just $300-500 or something like that, I'm sure. I did call the scrap yard, we can scrap it for $300. So I'm just
It's of
asking.
no use.
Oh, no, it's been in the weeds and the weeds are overgrowing it and it's back up behind the council circle. So, yeah, it was talked before.
What do you prefer, sealed bid or auction? Minimum bid, you just said minimum
300,
bid
I'm gonna do
300.
less than that because
Yeah.
we can get that if we drive ourselves to do that.
Sealed
The
bid.
other way they're long.
We did the auction here when we did it, and we had 2 people show up, we did on that old car.
What's not on the agenda, we'll put it on the agenda for
And
2
the
weeks.
proceeds from it come back to the barn bath, or the
Right.
dining hall bathrooms and office. Okay, thank you, very good. Right now, there's a mistake in the paper, Randy, if you could fix it for us. When we was here before, we got $5,200 from our estate. And it wasn't stated as that, it was $1,700. But it's $5,200 was what his check was. I talked to Rita Huff, and she's coming, so we can do a picture of, the donation, and she said there was more money to follow, that his assets were gonna be sold and divided up between the 2 places in one month.
Is that right?
We don't know how much, and that's what she said, it's just,
But you,
Hey,
but you know 5,200.
we already got it, we're already spending it, I'm gonna show you. Chapman, money and me, come on. Watch it, he knows. And, we bought metal for the roofs. Shake his head, he knows. The blue cabin, of course, you know, is the one that's been leaking, so
Right.
that's the one we ordered first. It is 4,000. Let's see here. $4,021.75. Then the pink cabin is the other one that is crushed it up and has that door or whatever you call that stuff. I'm not sure what it is. It's got to be replaced because it's just now beginning to leak. The prisoners was up on checking, putting the rig cap on, and of course we went through it. It was $3,094.82. And then the shop, which is worse, that's where we store all the tools and stuff, it's worse than those 2 cabins, and it was $642.39. So it's $5,200, that's what that's going towards, is to pay all those roofs, and that's what we need you to reflect in your report if you will.
What do you have to do, take off that,
That
3
on
feet
door I have to
plus
come
what
off.
was underneath it?
No, they said leave that. That's
Leave the
cheap.
shingles.
Yeah, it was Jack McCartney and Henry Boggs and a couple others. I traced it back, it was 20 years ago. And Richard Burke's the one that donated because his kid was in 4-H and he donated that. Is it on the
Putting
board? Am I saying it
putting
right?
steel back on.
We're putting metal. Yeah,
And it was
yeah,
already stripped, if I remember right, they stripped over top of the shingles and put that
Yes.
on top of it.
yes, yeah. And we may have to replace a few,
Stripping.
plywood. That's what Buck and, Mr. Cycle are doing right now up there, looking to see if they can see up through. And, the metal, that was the donation part for the office and the bathrooms, the total was $956.95. And we got that $1,000 donation to take care of that. Also, when I was here last, I told you about one camp that possibly would be coming back, and we have the meeting that next Tuesday, which was Calhoun County 4-H. They have signed the contract. They are back at the rec center for next year. Also, I secured another camp. It's called Union Mission Camp. They'll be here, so now we only have the 2 weeks in June. The 2nd and the 3rd week is available. Here's, the pancake dinner flyer for you. And also, we're putting a flyer out and advertising for hunters to stay in lodge rooms for hunting season, I guess.
What's the price on that, Darryl?
Price on the pancake breakfast?
No, the hunters.
It's
I was
what
asking about
price. The cabins are $20 per night per person, no linens. Lodge rooms are $50 a night, slates 3, all linens and toiletries included. So, I think that's all. Here's a diagram of the new bathrooms. Take a peek out there. And then Cindy and Buck and myself are working on a $10,000 grant. We just did it last night to bail out for this new addition on the bathrooms and the office and sidewalks that will be where you have no ramp. I mean, no step, it'll be a ramp. So that was successfully submitted, correct? And that was the Parkersburg Community.
Parkersburg Area Community Foundation.
grant, and that's the one we applied, we did last year for the pool, applied for 10 and got 5. So hopefully we get something back with that. Estimating 8,000 for this bathroom, and we're off to a good start already. Also, the farm show's this week, so please come up and see it, participate. I asked Keith Cole, if you remember, Mr. Chapman, when we did the barn bathroom during the farm show, we asked him if anybody wanted to donate the stuff back to put it to the ag bathroom, and we've asked now for the dining hall bathrooms and office, and he said he would do that, so we may be able to get some funding to do that. Okay? Anything?
Thank you.
Stop up.
Good.
All right, see ya. Thanks. Thank you, Cindy. See ya. See ya.
Lauren, I believe you're next on the agenda.
Thank you, that's me. Hi. This is Carlos Cole.
Okay.
On his behalf, we filed a petition for removal of executor of the estate of Phyllis C. Cole. She died May 27, 2011. I filed this petition at the end of June, over 2 months ago. And frankly, you guys are behind here because you're supposed to have acted on that promptly in a month. We ask that the executor appointed under that will be removed for failure to execute his duties, and that Carlos Cole, being the other beneficiary of the estate, be appointed as administrator with the will annexed, or CTA it's sometimes called. And we pointed out that the reasons for removal were multiple violations of the duty of the executor. First, the executor was required by West Virginia Code, Chapter 44, Article 14, Section 1, to file an appraisement within 90 days of his qualification as executor. That did not happen. As I said, she died May 27, 2011. The clerk here sent letters to the executor dated January 30th, 2013, June 27th, 2013, and February 26, 2014. So he's been reminded 3 times, informally, from, the county government that he has a statutory duty and he needs to file it. Also, the prosecuting attorney sent a letter dated June 6, 2013 to the executor to encourage him to, quote, move this matter forward. A year ago, on July 17, 2013, actually 13 and a half months ago, Carlos Cole appeared before this county commission, sitting as a county court, to request the executor be removed due to failure to complete the appraisement. The prosecuting attorney was present and informed the commission and the petitioner that the petitioner could file a petition for removal of executor. At that time, Carlos Cole said, well, he wasn't so much getting removed, I just wanted to get the job done. And the minutes of the meeting reflect that the commission president, Brian Kennedy, said he would call Mr. Hinter, the executor, see if he could get Mr. Hinter to finish a job. There's no record of any outcome of that call, but I would presume it was made. We do know that the county, the prosecutor had sent a letter a month earlier. On or for about June 3rd of this year, Carlos Cole and James Hinter met with the county clerk, who attempted to help Mr. Hinter fill out the appraisement form. And in fact, Carlos Cole got a copy of handwritten notes from that meeting. However, no appraisement to date has been filed. It's been over 3 years and 3 months since the death of Phyllis Cole and the qualification of the executor, and there have been repeated efforts to get him to do the job. He just hasn't done it. There are 2 claims filed against the estate, according to the records in the county clerk's office. One is a claim by Mission Hospitals that came in January 2013 for $50. The other is a claim by American InfoSource as an agent for Bank of America, came in August 2011 for $242.37. The executor was given notice by the clerk. He had 20 days to approve or reject the claim, and the executor was sent a form to fill out. That executor never dealt with that. So, at this point, I think the claims have to be taken as admitted by default, but there's no record that they have been paid either. Also, by law, the executor should have filed annual reports of accounts of the estate, what has come in, what has gone out, until such time as the estate is settled. Even if it had been 2.5 years, Carlos Cole wasn't complaining if it just got done. You know, he wasn't trying to be fussy or difficult. But now it's over 3 years, there hasn't been a single annual report, let alone a final report. The appraisement isn't even filed. And for these reasons, we ask, it may just be that the gentleman is not able to do it for personal reasons. And I don't know him personally, this is no personal attack on Mr. Hinter, he's probably a very fine gentleman, there's nothing personal intended here. But Carlos Cole is a beneficiary of the estate, he has a right to get this thing done. The creditors have they have small claims, but they have a right to get satisfied. And we ask that Mr. Hinter be removed for failure to comply. We should note that after served with this petition, he still hasn't filed any answer, nor has he filed the appraisement. And this was over 2 months ago. And we ask that you deny him the right to a commission because he didn't do the job. And just appoint Mr. Cole in his place, being the other beneficiary, to get the job done. I should add, I'm retained to assist Mr. Cole to make sure it does get done. So that is a relief we request, to order that Mr. Hinter be set aside as executor, that Mr. Cole be appointed as administrator with the will and next, Mr. Hinter be denied a commission, and that this matter be allowed to be administered properly. That's it. Plus, I have to leave in 25 minutes.
Plus you have to what?
I have to leave in 25 minutes because when this was scheduled, I told the clerk I'd have court in Bransfield at 10:30. If you need some testimony, Mr. Cole is.
I'm gonna have. Just 1 second. Larry, when was it that we met with Mr. Henry?
We did meet with Mr. Hinter and expressed the need to get this house completed. And it's my understanding that he became ill recently, is that correct?
All I know is what I heard here.
Yes.
He has been very, I know it's also on for a
Yeah.
period of time.
Yeah, hearsay, but seems to be reliable hearsay, is that he's had a stroke. And at this time, he may not be able to accomplish the job. Now, I don't think that's true for the majority of the last 3 years. I think that's happened since the petition was filed. But he may not be able to at this time, physically. There may have been other reasons he wasn't able to in the past, but we have heard he's had a stroke.
There was a will, wasn't there?
Yes.
Regardless of who does this.
It's just gonna be followed, just the way it's supposed to be.
um, I'm prepared to move forward today. I think these estates, if they drag out too long, too many, too long. I have a question for you this hour before
Yes.
you leave.
Okay.
In fact, I'll ask right now while Mr. Kennedy's out, he's the chair, but we have another estate,
Oh, the one I filed, we told me to file.
not that estate.
Oh,
This is another one that is
okay.
drug on forever, the Willard Cottrell estate.
I
And
know
we're
about that.
requesting paperwork back from a special appointed fiduciary commissioner who is
Not doing it?
not doing it.
You can remove your fiduciary commissioner and appoint somebody else, I guess. It's hard to
That's
find
my
anyone willing-
point, it's hard to find someone. Would you consider,
I don't want to do it. I stopped being a fiduciary commissioner in Calhoun County about 25 years ago. It's a horrible job.
that's what we're running into. Do you have any suggestions?
No, well, if they hire me privately, I'll settle the estate for them as their attorney. But being fiduciary commissioner, no, they have to pay you and they don't think they have to pay you because you're an arm of the court and they resent it and it's just a.
But doesn't the county commission have the authority if that fiduciary commissioner thinks it gets into a lot of time and effort? Aren't you allowed to request more than the
Yes.
standard $200?
Yes, you are. Some counties, in Roane County, the fiduciary commissioners are Dick Fromm, who's a retired attorney, and Loretta Knapp used to do it. I don't know if she still does it. She's a retired county clerk. Actually lost an election, but she was a very, very competent person. I think in Calhoun County, it's mostly just the county clerk acting as a fiduciary supervisor. Every county handles it differently. Every county is different.
Delegate Walker, I'm curious, is this an issue in all your counties that you represent, some of these estates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always been an issue.
Commission meetings I've sat in on, when, when this issue comes up, there's always seems to be some kind of hassle going on.
You've seen it before.
Well, this is a more professional approach, and I appreciate y'all being here today.
Thanks.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Just to answer that question, don't you have any retired attorneys who might do it for you? No?
What did I miss there while I was up?
Nothing about this particular issue, but I asked Ms. Howley, talking about the horticultural estate, and we need to find a fiduciary commissioner, and if she would consider it. She, as politely as she could say, basically no, but I haven't given up on it yet. I reminded her that she has that right to request additional monies for dealing with the state. But back to the business at hand, I would like to move that we grant the request that we appoint. How would that read? Carlos Cole is the petitioner. Did he become the executor?
No, it'd be administrator with the will annexed. It's sometimes called administrator CTA, which stands for Latin cum testamento annexo or something. I'm not sure I got it right, but it means with the will annexed. Because you're only an executor if you're named in the will, so he's the administrator with the will attached.
And he wasn't.
He was not named as the executor. Hinter was, and they're the two beneficiaries. Right?
Right.
Yeah. And if appointed, he'll have to order bank records because he hasn't been able to get any transparency from Mr. Hinter. He's asked to see copies.
But that
and
would give
stuff.
him the right to do that.
Yes, that would
And
give
he
him
will be
the right.
assisting him.
That's right. And I can't say it'll be done in 30 days because we have to order bank records, so it may take more like 90 days, but we will work on it. Correct? Okay.
Grant this request to make this change.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Do I need to write an order and submit it to you, or will that be in your minutes?
I can put it in the minutes, but it'd probably be a good idea for you to send me a letter.
Okay, who signs the order? Who's the president right now? Brian Kennedy. And send it to the clerk?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Will you give us a monthly update, though?
Sure.
Just, you don't have to come, but.
So you just, a note or a letter?
Please.
So, one around the beginning of October, good enough? I'll be on vacation until the end of September, so, at that last week, so sometime beginning of October, I'll get. Okay, I'll talk to you in the hallway, and, I'll prepare an order and send it to you. And you'll make sure that, the president gets to sign it. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Let's see what we can get done. Take care of this, work in the hallway, it's gonna get it back up.
Ken done earlier.
So this is Holly.
Ken?
Before you step out, can I get your signature?
Oh, sure, sorry, I kind of, I know, we're all.
I believe that takes us to Will Jane Loftus.
Okay.
Hi, I come as president of the Gilmer County Association of Retired School Employees, and I would like to request you to proclaim the week of September the 22nd through the 26th as VARS, which is West Virginia chapter, as the VARS week. Because VARS and Gilmer County Association are organizations of retired teachers, school service personnel, administrators, and college personnel. VARS is the only state organization that represents all retired school employees. The members of VARS set up and contribute to a scholarship fund to assist qualifying Gilmer County students with college expenses. 2 Gilmer County high school students are awarded scholarships during the senior assembly each spring. VARS also supports and contributes to several community projects. School supplies for the Martha's and Mary's campaign and food for AARP's Blizzard boxes are donated annually through GARS. Dedicated GARS employees, or GARS members, provide many volunteer hours of community service each year. Members plan to deliver fruit to the school personnel at each school in Gilmer County during the GARS week.
How many retired persons do you have?
Oh, I don't know on the list, we have over 100. We have 40 typically attend each meeting.
I move to adopt this proclamation declaring September 22nd, 26th as retired school employees.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Here, I need to get a copy going more. Okay, thank you.
How do you want this? Jane, how do you prefer it?
This is
Stand
fine, no,
up?
that's fine, well, whatever.
Stand up?
She looks
You
taller.
make me look smaller if you stand up.
Yeah, you have your-
Yeah, okay.
All right.
All right, that'll work. Thank you. Oh, might have to do it again.
Yeah, one more
Okay,
time.
all right, crazy
Here's the
camera,
delay.
I'm sorry. I'm not very high tech.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Boy, I see that big bucket here all the time.
Well, you leave it alone.
There was two of them together, you see it?
Oh, yeah, we
It's real
said,
dark.
they ate our apples on Sunday.
Man, that thing is a monster.
Will and Jane.
Oh, my
You want the
Oh, you need
original
to-
or copy?
The beans and that, what's that about that thing?
The original.
So it is
What's
almost.
this message from ADQ? Is that for me? Is that-
Yeah, where is it?
I recall that.
The 9:45 appointment is rescheduling for a later date.
Okay.
Exonerations and consolidations.
That's a full paper book.
Yeah.
It
Retro.
is retro.
Here's a little gesture of that. John Heaters. Thank you, Jim. Services last night.
Condition?
You did the authorization, right?
Gilmer's girls, I have anything tomorrow. I'm not sure if I need one. I have anything tomorrow. I'm just
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
That's what it's got going on, just like.
That's where it's headed one of these days.
Yeah, it needs to be. And the raise, the price fiduciary commissioner receives $200 on that.
They can charge up to, I think it's $500, and then they have to request additional money for their time and stuff.
And the county commission makes that call.
They have their, that would be the company.
Motion to approve the exonerations and consolidations.
Move to approve the exoneration and the one division request.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? State qualifications and settlements.
You guys said you had a seat here, Paul. Can you go away from the end of the time? Okay, thanks. You're welcome.
Wait a second. Nope.
That one can go on the front.
Move to approve the state qualifications.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Board appointments.
Move to appoint Chester Scholes to the Recreation Center Board for a term of 1 year.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approved county commission minutes for July 1st and the 16th. Do I hear a motion to approve them as written?
So moved.
I will second on the minutes for the 16th meeting as I was right after first.
Okay, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Receipt of the county board minutes for the E911 addressing report.
And in addition to that, after the agenda was posted, we received minutes from the Gilmer County Board of Health for May 27, 2014.
Okay. Let's see. 15 minutes. Yeah. Let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and work through some of the rest of this, and we'll pay bills after we get through this point. Willard Cottrell Estate.
At your last meeting, you had some conversation, Mr. Martin, and you agreed at that point to
took action on anything. We discussed it, but I don't recall taking action on anything.
Oh, I know what it was. You said, you told me that you would waive bond renewal, opinions of bond renewal. And there's been some new information since that time. Very smart.
I believe it's had a reduction of the amount of the state. Sure.
Well, I think the wording was you would waive the renewal bond.
Right.
But since then, you had a meeting with Jim
Yes.
Collins, and there's been some additional information that's transpired since then that may change your decision in the last meeting.
I would like to see those minutes to see how that's exactly written, but one thing's for sure, we got, or at least I wasn't aware of. First of all, bonding doesn't include the property. It was just on the financial assets. It didn't include the property. So they can sell all the property they want to, it has no bearing on the amount of bond. Speaking of bonding company, one reason this is so high, when that executor is out of state, the price for that doubles. I don't know why it doubles, but it doubles. And thus the high cost. I don't understand what Jerry had in that letter, that we can decrease, because those financial assets are still there.
It sounds like we're going to have another meeting with Jerry Hunter, he's got to review this again.
Well, more important than that, where do we stand on getting the paperwork back?
Well, that was the other thing I was going to bring up when you were
Okay.
finished. You had also indicated that we should send Mr. Mauser a letter. So in light of all the new happenings, the letter has not been sent. So is the letter still to go out? And so I have one prepared, I can get it for you to sign.
Personally, I think we need to request all that documentation back, and let's find a fiduciary commissioner that will get this job done. How long has he had?
And
The file.
over a year.
Over a year. Well, you know,
Yeah, we need to send a letter.
Okay, so we need to send the letter, and then what are the next steps to resolve this matter? I'm sure Mr. Murphy will be calling me again today to find out what's going on.
Well, in light of this new information,
first of all, the bond amount cannot be increased. Financial assets are still there. And when he said on the phone that he had sold some property, well, the property is not a part of the bond. It's excluded from it.
I got you wrong.
It's irrelevant.
Right.
So,
The bond is not for an executor, it is for the estate, it's not to cover the executor, it's to cover the estate. And it's just the personal
Right.
property itself, it does not have to cover the real estate, as you had said.
I spoke with Mr. Murphy after the last meeting, I explained to him some of the new findings. So I think probably we need to send, in addition to a letter to Mr. Mauser, to send a letter to Mr. Murphy. Because based on the phone conversation that you waived the bond, now a letter stating why you cannot waive the bond.
I got all that information in that letter from Mr. Mauser and this card from Mr. Murphy. That way he's fully aware of it. That way he's fully aware of the conversation we had with Mr. Murphy and knows that there's action coming. He needs to understand that we've had some dialogue with Mr. Murphy to move on.
There's got to be some dialogue here, there's got to be communication with the prosecutor too, because the prosecutor sent this guy a letter saying what was legal and what was not legal to do.
I haven't spoken with Jared. I just spoke with Mr. Collins, who the bond was purchased through his company.
Okay.
Additionally, it was said to me that there should be an annual accounting by the executive of that estate. Is that something you require?
It's by code that they're supposed to, but no one's ever filed it.
So it's by the West Virginia code that all, since this estate, you should be receiving an annual accounting of the estate.
Nothing has been
And
done
you
since
not
Mr.
received
Hopper
anything.
has been deceased, which was in 2010. Nothing has been done, other than trying to get fiduciary commission.
You know, we really just, that's why I asked Ms. Howard if she considered being a fiduciary commissioner. We're going to have to find someone that will do it. And I don't think it's an issue with us allowing additional monies to pay for it. Because that comes out of the estate. The estate will pay for it. Just like this bond, that bond was paid out in the estate,
Supposed to be taken
not out of
the
his
estate.
pocket.
It's not supposed to be, it's supposed to be taken out of the estate assets. And
But you've not received an accounting, so you don't know where it's been taken. We need to request that accounting from Mr. Murphy. That's the thing we need from him. We need to find a fiduciary commissioner that will settle it, and we need an annual or an accounting, we've never had one, but a current accounting of the estate. Where's money out of the estate being spent? What's left? We don't know, correct, Jane?
no, I don't know, and I haven't even seen any kind of paperwork even after our fiduciary commissioner resigned, there was no paperwork at all. And then I would assume that Mr. Murphy sent all of his paperwork to Mr. Mauser when he was appointed, and then nothing's been done. Cindy and I both have, on many occasions, tried to contact Mr. Mauser with no respond back to either of us, and then the last, since April, I have contacted him 3 or 4 times and left messages because he has not.
And he doesn't return your calls.
Um,
Would it be proper right now, have we ever taken official action to remove him?
No.
Can we do it today?
You do it over this estate.
Let me interject one thing here. I spoke with Mr. Huff regarding all that was taking place here and what would need to happen to get those records back, because you did
Where I was
certainly do
headed.
at the last meeting, and I did. And he said all we have to do is request them back. And he said, he told me to contact Mr. Mauser, tell him that we're requesting the records back, and that have them prepared, and Mr. Huff would pick them up in Mr. Mauser's office on a Tuesday or a Thursday as he makes his trip to Summersville. And so I did contact him, and initially he was going to pick them up today, Tuesday, September 2nd. But then Mr. Huff contacted me back and said that he would not be able to pick them up that day, there was a change in his schedule. So we need to reschedule that. So at that point, this meeting is coming up, so I said to Mr. Huff, well, let's just wait and see what the outcome is today, and see if you still want him to pick them up, and if so, we can arrange for that, I would assume, as early as this Thursday.
Well, we do still want him to pick them up,
Yeah.
but we also, he's involved in this. He sent a letter and he signed his name to the bottom. He can't just not be involved now. He needs to be involved throughout this whole
And
process.
he is also supposed to be sending you a letter, I haven't seen it yet, I don't know if it's come in the mail or not since I was away, but he's supposed to send you guys a letter addressing the very issue of what he said in his letter to Mr. Murphy about waiving the bond, and now the new findings that we're assuming cannot be waived. Mr. Huff is supposed to address that in writing.
Will you touch base with him after the meeting?
Mr. Huff.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see where the letter is, addressing the issue, waiving the bond, and we'll go ahead and make arrangements for him to pick up the records, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess the bond, but then you don't protect the estate. That's why the estate's bonded, so it protects those financial assets, because there are beneficiaries. I guess you could. I don't think that's a wise thing to do, though. As long as this thing's drug on, listen, there need to be assurances. That's why it's insurance.
The will didn't waive the bond, did it?
No. Okay.
Now, what about, should we take action to remove Mr. Mauser as fiduciary commissioner?
I want no part of any action today without our attorney being here to give us some instruction. There's two of you all.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I don't, he's not done the job. Again, I think we need to move quicker on these estates. If we have fiduciary commissioners, we don't get it done, you know, we need to keep this thing. It should not take 3 or 4 years to get an estate finalized. And if we can do anything to speed it up, because there are beneficiaries in that estate, they shouldn't be driven out. So I'm going to remove Mr. Mauser as fiduciary commissioner of Willard Cottrell Estate, so that we can appoint someone else. We can't appoint someone else until we remove him.
Why would you remove him and not have anybody?
My motion stands on the floor.
Why would you remove him and not have anybody else to appoint?
Well, how could you appoint anyone until you remove him? That would be a task for us to find someone.
Okay, but I mean, can you appoint?
The first person I would ask is Ms. Howley, the lady, the attorney who's here today.
Can this person be appointed without being a meeting?
Or do you want me just to present it to them?
Okay.
No.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
guess
But if you're going to ask for all the
Well,
documentation
it's on the agenda, so when it
back,
comes up, I'll just give them
I
to
think
you.
that constitutes
And then we'll just give
removing.
it to Scott.
If we receive all the information back on Thursday, he's in essence been removed. I would second that motion with the caveat that you would add to that amendment that our prosecutor be the one that drafts that letter, make sure that we would follow all necessary requirements for his removal in this case, given the special circumstances that are involved in this with the bond, the letter, and everything that's already involved.
You got that, Jane?
I didn't hear a word he was saying.
I'm moving with the assistance of our prosecuting attorney that we remove Mr. Mauser, the special fiduciary commissioner of the Willard Cottrell Estate. So the beginning of that motion is with our prosecuting attorney's assistance.
Making sure we've met all the necessary provisions for his removal. And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, so would you like me to contact Mr. Howard and ask him to draft that letter?
Please.
Mr. Mauser, following all proper procedures.
If it's even needed. It may not be needed.
And then something back to us saying that we've met all the provisions and requirements.
That was my only concern.
It just bothers me that you don't get the courtesy of Gene calling and doesn't get the courtesy of a return call to find out where it stands.
Now, they're gonna have to do something about this whole process one of these days. Because they shouldn't be able to just slow walk just because they want to.
You have any ideas, Delegate Walker? Problem all over the state, isn't it?
Not off the top of my head, but there'd be something maybe they could look at, put in a study or something in, in the committee. They were looking at about a year. See if the state can't change the process.
The fees need raised.
Signed letter to Hayden Harper regarding rec center gas bills.
One more question before we move on to
Okay.
that. So do you want me to go ahead and make the arrangements for Mr. Hunt to pick up his records or wait till after that letter is sent?
The bill,
Yeah, you make,
Just let him.
yeah.
yeah. We've removed and we need the documentation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, with your all's blessing, I'll request that Ms. Allen should consider. Looking this over. You don't care. Needs to be complete.
The letter to Hayden Harbor is a response to your request for a face-to-face meeting. representing from their company.
Okay, Mr. Delegate Walker.
Thank you. I appreciate this time, Commissioners. I presented the city a resolution that is on the agenda today against the EPA's Clean Air Act. It's a resolution that I've introduced in every county that I serve for the commissioners to approve this resolution and send it on to our congressional elected individuals in Washington, D.C. And it also be sent to the United Mine Workers Office that we stand with the mine workers, not union or non-union, but we stand with the workers and protecting their jobs. This clean air rule that they've enacted goes far beyond what needs to be done. Once our power plants are put into technology that don't even exist. So, and it's to be, if this rules enacted, it will devastate the economy of West Virginia. You take coal mining out of the equation in West Virginia, there's going to be a big hole in tax revenue. Not, from each county, some smaller, some greater, but there will be economic impact that will devastate our economy, and not only that, it will devastate jobs, good paying coal mining jobs, a good industry that we have and we relied on for forever. So it's another reason I think that this would be good is because that worldwide, in the next 5 years, they're going to open 1,200 new power plants in foreign countries, all coal-fired, with no emission controls on them whatsoever. China, India. China will open up 5 a week for the next 3 years. But I didn't bring all my information with me today, so I'm kind of trying to do it by memory. 5 a week, no emissions. Not at all. Laughing in our face, man, and we're over here costing our economy, costing our workers jobs. And they're just over there just blatantly doing whatever they want to do. And I think it's wrong, man, putting this hardship up on our workers, upon our industry. We need to send a voice to Washington, D.C., to the EPA and say, no, we're against this. Quit messing with our workers and messing with our industry, because when the world is doing nothing. And if they done all this, if they shut us down, and we done all this, it would amount to nothing. 1% of the carbon emissions they're after, if they shut our plants down, that the world will still be producing the pollution, it would make over 1% of difference in the world. So they're wanting to mess with us while the world is, doing whatever they want to do. So that's the reason I'm here today to present this, and with my hopes and that you gentlemen would accept this and send it on to our elected leaders and say, we're against this new Clean Air Act. Thank you. I appreciate it. Any questions, I'll be glad to ask them. That's my bill.
Thoughts of the commission? One little typo on the back.
I can get fixed now, just send it around.
I'm with you, Dave.
I would move that we adopt the resolution.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Clay County's been hit hard.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. The prior Clean Air Act is killed coal in West Virginia. I mean, in Clay County, it's killed our coal.
what they say, there's 60,000. We were Charleston the last time. I forget what Senator Faismeyer told me. And this, you tell me if this is right, is it $60,000, $50,000 a year jobs?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That's it.
Sometimes, you know,
Is what they're at, that's what
That's
they're at right
average.
now. Yeah.
yeah.
Southern West Virginia,
Good,
60,000.
middle class paying jobs, man, you know, people.
60,000 jobs?
60,000 jobs compared to what it was, we're down. 60,000 jobs that pay $50,000 a year. That's monumental.
Especially when you figure how many times that all gets paid.
And that's just, that would just be in the coal mine, and the coal mines and the power plants, then all the other jobs that trickle down, you know, that supports the mines, the power plants, you know.
What was that, $1.38 tons?
That's pretty big.
$1.
Oh,
7 to 8 tons.
you're good.
Do you want a copy of that?
I'd like to have a copy of it, please.
Yeah, so it's salad. Salad, this is there.
We had a discussion from the beginning about maybe put some things like trimming trees.
Okay, is he willing to serve? I'll take care of it. Gotcha. All right, thanks. Bye-bye. Brian, if you could go back to the board appointments, I have another one in there.
Certainly will. Moving back to board appointments and resignations.
I would move to appoint Edward Talbot to another term on the Public Service District.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Get you some coffee here. You're tired now, you wait till you start paying bills.
I mean, you got a card.
Is that kind of says, like, watching paint dry?
Is he here?
I don't know.
Is he gonna stay here?
It's been so long, I forgot what we were doing.
I think he's supposed to get together and say,
Scotty Curry. That's not quite time. Signed contract with Marion Inclater Professional Services.
Are you aware of this? It was very me this morning. It's a letter from Mary Ann Clater, you know, she did work for the auditor's office, she was an auditor, but she's no longer with them, she has her own business now, Clater Enterprises. But it's a letter to the commission that she requested that I provide training in the preparation of the annual financial statements and annual share settlement for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2014. And I'm pleased to confirm my acceptance and understanding of the engagement. And she has the terms here there's an email where she's offered two options. The flat fee or an hourly rate. A flat fee of $2,500, an hourly rate of $50 per hour plus travel and cost. And for that service, she would provide unlimited telephone support, 3 on-site visits if necessary through June 30th of 2015. If additional on-site visits are necessary per your request, the additional fee will be negotiated before the commencement of further services. So she's presented here the contract for the flat fee. But this is the letter, her and Angel have had some communication.
Angel's comfortable with it.
Yeah. I knew what it was as soon as the crazy thing is I didn't know her last name. I talked to her extensively through our times where she's helped us out. And
Angel said the price is down too.
Yeah.
It was
It's like 4,000.
a little over 4,000 last year. It's down to- So Angel evidently is doing more in the ground.
Yes, yes.
It's
It's
good.
just some things that Marion wasn't able to help her with because of her son, or, later on, when she starts working with Angel, then she will not with it.
Move to enter into a contract with Marianne Claytor to assist in financial statement of 2013, 2014 for a flat fee of $2,500.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approved poll workers for November 4th, 2014. Somebody drew something on your foot, girl.
I know. Me and my sister got it together. Oh, just have to back in? Yeah. Okay.
Gene, will more alternates come in later, or?
Maybe. Most people don't want to use all of it. They don't want to work, or they, because we just can't get people.
Do we need to assist you in pulling them?
Yeah, but they have to be at home all day long that day. They do not get paid for the day. They, people do not want to stay at home all day long just in case something.
I mean, they can go to any precinct,
They,
but you
well,
still only have 1, 2, 3.
exactly.
You ever said, they have to sit at home all day long.
Yeah, and they don't get paid. The alternates do not get paid. And our county fee is about almost $100 less than any county around us for our poll workers. comes out of my election budget.
Well, I'd like to request, inside 30 days, we see on the road, just what is paid. In two counties being, counties our size, I don't think you can compare us to a Harrison or a Lewis, but a Roan, a Braxton, a Calhoun, a Wirt, a Ritchie, a Doddridge.
Well, Calhoun would be our closest compared to us.
I would like to see
Because I think
a listing
Calhoun pays
of
about
just
200.
what they do.
But you gotta look how many precincts too. There's some counties that don't have as many precincts as we have. I mean, we're not the only one that has problems finding poll workers. Every county has a problem finding poll workers.
Especially if there's law ordinance. You have to sit home and not get paid. Keep up. Not a very good job, is it?
I mean, your executive committees have a hard time finding them too, so.
Motion to approve the poll workers.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. What can we do for you folks?
Where would ANS recovery?
Your what?
Where the ANS recovery?
Oh. Okay. We're ready for you.
You want to go ahead and speak on Scott Curry has contacted the commission. He's presenting before you there all of what he believes to be the complete paperwork needed to apply to be included as a record service on Gilmer's 911 rotation schedule. So they're requesting pending approval of all the paperwork that they be appointed to be on the rotation schedule.
Bill Rowan been notified of this?
See ya.
He
We got into this one time before. You guys have got to yell at him, and him say okay, and then it comes to us.
Have you spoken to Bill Rowland?
Sonny has. They told me to get the paperwork together and. But we need to make sure all the paperwork is all before we approve it.
Well, we did, Brian's right, we got into this one time, I think, ultimately, the 911 center.
You guys have an office in Gilmer County?
Yes. It's at 264 Barker Drive.
It's what?
It's at 264 Barker Drive.
Okay. Where is that?
It's right across from the medics.
Okay.
Yeah. And I believe that's a Burnsville zip code, but it is in Gilmer County, yes, ma'am.
Could we just call Bill Rowland? Is he familiar with, you say you did give this to Mr. Rowland?
Scotty called him and he's the one that told him what he needed for paperwork.
He told Scotty that he needed to fill out the paperwork.
He gave
So
him the.
Scotty filled out the paperwork. Did he give that back in turn to Mr. Rowland to review?
Been using that computer
I don't think so.
That's the best thing, just call him, just call him.
I compared what they have to what other record companies have been approved to have in terms of different forms. And everything based on that appeared to be fair.
We have to dial here, Lindy.
Eight, get out.
Hey, who am I talking to? Hey, Rob, this is Brian Kennedy here, Gilmer County Commission. We're in a meeting and I need to yell at Bill just a second. Okay. Been down there today, Dave? I need to get that set up. Huh? Just stop by. Hey, Bill? Hey, buddy, I'm in the commission meeting here and I've got a request from A&S Recovery. Be placed on the rotation roll. I just wondered what you thought and what you knew about that. A&S, it's Scotty Kirby. He does? Yep, give me just a second.
Please, have that.
Physical and mailing address of 264 Barker Drive, Burnsville, West Virginia, 26335. And that is actually in Gilmer County, right across from the minutes.
Trying.
That's garden this year, right?
Do you all have it rolled back in the conventional record? Yes, sir. You've got this packet here. You need copies of it too. Okay, very good. Okay, thank you. Do I hear a motion that we activate A&S Recovery Service as records service in Gilmer County and place them on the 911 rotation?
Mr. Rowan, everything's in order?
Everything is in order.
So moved. So,
Now, the discussion before this, that's when I say any discussion, and I have some. This is going to appear very crude. But at which point do we, as commissioners, I mean, how many services do we have in the county now?
I think this is the third from us. I think it's the
And
third.
Tommy, you have been, does anybody understand what I'm getting at here?
There's a time when you got too many.
You can water it down to where it's not feasible for anybody, right?
Correct.
right.
Where is that?
You know, it's kind of hard to say, but if they're all in the rotation, all well, it's continue to stay on the list, I think that's their choice.
Okay.
Because there are times when it is difficult and they have to wait for long periods of time for a record to come. Or maybe they need to operate, you know, two different types of records. And each entity doesn't necessarily always have both.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Rowan would like a copy of that stuff.
Do you have a copy? Is this for us to keep?
All right, no, I don't want to copy of that.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, I've avoided it all I can.
That's good.
Huh?
I know what,
Always saving for the last.
I get it what you're saying, how can
I mean, I know it happens in other counties. Like, I know it has happened in other counties where they say, we're sorry, we're taking more. Bigger counties, Harrison County.
well, I think like Lewis County has 8.
Yeah.
I would say 3 to us, it's like 8 to them. They're the ones that also population.
I'm not, I was in that business, and you were in that business, any of us. there'd be a point where you think, Lord, no water down there anymore, you know? Well, trucks cost $50,000.
Concerning the bills.
But for them to do it, they must feel it's advantageous.
Lucrative, private business.
Yeah, so it's not like
Before we started to pay the bills, I'd like to give you a little update on the, I went down and attended the Little Canal transit for the meeting, and probably at our next second meeting in October, we'll request that their director come up and give us an update. There's some pending legislation that's going around with the new healthcare laws that actually affects the transportation of how they operate, and they provide services for doctor's appointments and those kind of things. So they're still ironing those out, it'd be premature to give any updates, but that's something I think we need to get out to the public in October.
Put on the agenda for the second meeting. I'll contact, when we contact our own training, so we're putting it up time.
I think by that time, she will have those questions answered. If not, we may need to wait till November. I think it's just important we try to do it as quickly as we can, so those answers come through.
Okay.
Please, Bill, Sunday.
And we'll get into that. Here's a stack of pay bills. And, oh.
these are paid.
These have already, have I got personal?
Yeah, personal, personal.
Yeah, uh-huh. I know.
You know, I'm sure we can.
I'll check and see what the last time I did that. I know I got one at the end of the year, and I think I'm getting out one, quarterly or semi-annually. Not too exciting, that, but something I mean, it's growing a little.
There's none of those that are too exciting right now.
Yes. That freeze.
Yes.
You know where State Electric is, Dave?
Yes.
I stopped in their next door office to see about one of those Holes house music systems. They just give those things away. It's amazing what that costs. Did you order the components and assemble yours yourself?
Yeah, you got all the separate components. But since they have come out with new items at the cost of a lot less.
Do I?
They have come out with new
Yeah.
techniques at the cost of a lot less.
Even since you bought yours?
Yeah,
Is that something Ben can install?
Yeah,
Now, does yours, like, in your different rooms, can you play Pandora
yes,
in separate rooms?
yep.
Will it, Will it pick up like a ball game or something off the television and play it, the sound?
You can,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I was
You
looking.
can mix, you can, you know.
Right.
Any way you want.
It's ridiculous what they price it to me. About $8.
Hey, Jane, she pays for that herself.
Ben told me about what the components cost, you know?
Yeah. And you know, and then the component that we're talking about is the best rates.
Yeah,
I know we can get them for less,
yeah,
but when we got them, we just said, well, we'll get them one time.
yeah.
How much work is this position there paying?
It seems like it's more just maybe going to some training.
They started early this morning for me, about 4:30. I like to sleep about 7:30.
What do you think of that?
My natural time to wake up is about 10 minutes after 7.
Do you think before they got an attention, get it?
4:30 is definitely attention.
So it does everything?
Phone calls, I could have to, actually, in office, so we're from 7:30 to 8 to.
All right.
Probably about 5.
These are unpaid bills. Daryl will come in this morning, he has gas bill paid right there. We also have a big Harper bill, current invoice. So I don't know if you want to approve it, or if you want it to go with compilation of other bills that we're looking at. He's recommending it be paid because it's current. It's not, it's only, I think, $59.
Where?
Where does the free gas come in?
Well, that's what we want to find out when you sit down and pay the work.
When does it
Because
start?
if we pay that, then you're almost saying that we agree to get that free gas.
I don't know those things.
I'm waiting.
Do we meet with them?
Chapman's taking some stands over there.
Well, okay.
I can't do here today, serious.
I can't take this down.
Drawing some lines in the sand.
You got that right.
He's filling his customer there, delivering you fast.
Man, I tell you, I thought you did. All good work there. Never did say that. First thing I noticed, he turned the man's coming by house. So, after we trying to get up close, her laying down, she finally laid down, she found out the windows. I went in there, put her work back, pulled it out. My son inside, blew in his face, picked it up behind me, and he started breathing. Well, first one ever saved my life. I had some gas, but I had to go find some water. I started crossing that and looked back, see that cat was trying to get up there. Guess what? Cal went up to me, another water bag. I thought, no way! Twins. I started by doing it, the closer I got, first thing you notice. He turned, while he's turning up, I waited till she laid down, she pushed it up. Dumped it the other side of the Nancy, I ran up, she jumped up, I had to run her down there. She wasn't moving too fast. Water back, pulling down another one backwards. It's allowed to.
They weren't very big, were they?
Bigger than what I would have thought.
I understand, but they weren't very big.
They weren't full size,
Yeah,
but let me tell you, I see why they have a lot of problems, was that hip is bigger than the head.
oh, yeah.
Hips are bigger. The second one was bigger, it was a bull cow. The first one was smaller. I didn't look to see it, but that was probably a half breast. Balance too. I'm still excited.
I had to load legs. Bring it up here.
You ever saved one coming backwards?
Yeah.
I just did not. You
I've
got
never
that
saved
one
it,
quick?
I've never saved a big one coming backwards, that's why I said they
Well,
weren't
the
very
second
big.
one was just this one, the bullcat. He was a third bigger than the hammercat, the first one.
The thing about a big cat coming backwards is you gotta pull, 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 pull,
When she was standing up and I was pulling down,
which is backwards.
which they fall out though, it's kind of, but now that mucus and stuff is in their face. If there's anything that smells worse than a hot day and getting that stuff on your hands, I'd be glad I don't know what it is. But I'll tell you, it was hot this year.
It's been that way for a week.
We had a good week in the hay last week,
Is there any more hay weather coming? Does anybody know?
not for a day or two.
Not for a while. Next week is like supposed to be in the 70s, which is not bad, but
Where that meeting is.
I don't know, I was gonna ask why we get people campaigning.
And I'm gonna tell you, check it out, I think that's just for a meter.
Yeah, that's just your backup,
That's just your backup meter.
while you're at zeros. But I just want to make sure that
It seems awfully high.
somewhere here.
Is that for 2 months? That's
Somewhere here, 15 to 13. So we had a hundred gallons.
we charge us a late fee. I think, it's 2 months.
Somehow, well, I got mine.
I mean, it'd be.
Yeah, it's the security guard about welfare, we got something behind it. That comes up the back of the, main title.
What's this? This is a credit. That's a
yeah.
credit?
Is that passed over here?
No,
Or,
West Virginia
It's
Board.
a credit for,
oh,
workers' comp. Probably have to do with the payroll on it, I would assume, and look into it further, or probably when we audited it, that's the best thing. So there really isn't anything to approve.
Standing credit for next month, for quarter. Well, it's not anything, I've been reading when it put on production, on the rate, they reduced the rate, so I think we want it to.
February, I should have done.
Yeah.
Fiscal year. Probably Kelsey and Al to read the letter.
These are all, you need to just sign there individually.
I would assume.
That's their 911 tax report. Individually?
All right. I'm just telling. This-
All these are the same. Every one of these little things already.
Probably every other one, probably a cover letter and a copy of the check, so probably have to do quite a bit of that.
I didn't see this here until after they have to make a choice.
The workers' comp credit, you have to choose here if you want to check, return, or if you want to apply it to the future payment.
Amen. Got that off the corner of my eye, I thought that was your little bit. What? Hey. Good? Think we can get that thing in there sometime?
Tell me when.
Okay. What day's good this week?
I'm getting it today.
Okay. Tomorrow?
That's fine. What time?
Noon? I'm gonna tell Dad to meet you there, man.
Okay.
Are you okay with having this workers' comp credit applied to a future payment versus having a check returned for the difference?
Sitting at home, she had that, or she had to,
Or when you want to go on the
That's,
transaction.
she had an extra copy.
Oh, okay.
Everything is coming in. Yes, I'm on that.
Well,
Are we holding these jail bills until we get our own gas sales tax?
I would,
I would do. Have you been?
have not been, but it's time to start, as far as I'm concerned.
That'll get a little activity. Everybody states it.
Yeah. Wayne County is 890.
I don't think, so you heard that, Jamie, we'll hold these jail bills until we get our own gas sales tax. It should have been here in June. Hey, cost we still paying?
I'm putting a note on that, Cindy.
That just been changed. All this morning. Like your street or
Right. Number shot call.
We all get strong, so I feel some stuff in there.
Yeah, no. Yeah, just whatever, you think I need, so we bring your attention.
I'll take these associations, region 7 dues, associations of counties. And there's the sheriff, they've got these other sheriff's associations. One feeds another.
Thank you, ma'am. My grandfather likes that coffee, just boiled it in the cup. And I, this seems absurd.
Likes to sip it,
Yeah, does it?
like a fine wine. just-
Yeah. You know, that fine line is. The reason they sip that, it's right here. They sip it is because it's not because of the way it tastes, it's because it's so expensive. They're trying to make it last. I was in a restaurant in Elkins, the new one's called Vintage. They brought out a wine list, and they've got several bottles on there that are $350, $500. There's one on there that's $1,100. Imagine getting so far up in the world that you think that you can enjoy an $1,100 bottle of wine. That's just a little bit above my race.
Way to put it on paper, even.
Yeah. Fix the bad old 2020 bill underneath the bridge. There wasn't much sipping going on. You drink it for effect.
I usually feel pretty good through these meetings with whatever it is. still right here, like, it's sick, my stuff.
Yeah, we didn't look at that first semester.
Is that that one on the phone?
Yeah.
You know?
Is this what we were talking about, being, is it this month or next month?
What?
Is it on the next month? Well,
I'm sorry, I didn't
they
hear.
called it.
Well, it was last week, so it would be last month. Last week, we got 3 phone calls from out of state. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. These people called us, wanted to know why we called them. And we're like, they was like, well, when did we call? And she was like, 4 o'clock in the morning, this is, I don't know, we called, but, you know, we're not open at that time. So I was telling Holly about it, that we need to have a look at that, because whatever's happening, they're calling out of state, or something's calling out of
So
state.
it probably is not writing FX charges, we'll look into that to make sure, because one of the things to be included. However, I do have numbers for Frontier's Broad Control Unit, we have to deal with them before, where our phone lines are intact. This is internet line.
As long as it's not charging us to like a number that collects money, even though it's a long distance may be included, you know, there's certain numbers you call, they charge you back, $1.99 a minute or something like that. That's the key, because I don't know if it's funded or not.
I mean, I can't even remember what state it was. I think one of them was New York. Maybe one from South Carolina.
The last time that calls were being made was, in foreign countries.
It's me.
Looking for the next slide.
And which part of the world do you want it from?
I'm just calling.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
doing phone interviews.
Gene, what's the miracle box?
I'll help you out with that one.
What's the miracle box?
Oh, those are boxes that we use to pack up everything that's been audited, that we have to keep for so long.
Right?
And we order those, and the sheriff and I go in half to file our records that's been audited.
Yeah.
That's coming out of that
Yeah, hard to say, I don't know, you can-
other stay.
Brutal.
I agree with what you're saying, I'm looking back.
That used to be more than what the whole thing is. Just do about 7 or 8,000. So the state's good.
I'm away from-
Yes.
It's funny. You know me and money, Chapman. I'll never forget those. If we got $5, I think we ought to spend 6.
Get stuff done, though.
Yeah, out there.
I'll tell you what, he's right there in his element right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly where he's meant to be. His face does light up when he sees he's got a little money. You know, I've been out there and watched him a couple times here, and, I mean, he got 5 or 6 things going there at once, and he multitasks extremely well there and doesn't get flustered. But he did say, built, I think they got private owners for it.
I tried, yeah.
Yeah. Now what, Cindy?
Is there any other business?
Yeah, we got motion to approve the bills.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed?
Speaking of money, Brian, is there any update from the Singleton Housing Assistance for the criminal?
I've got that call in right now. There are no budget revisions. So that's to you, Cindy.
I just have a few things to update you on. Reminder that next Thursday at 1:30, so we'll open the bids for the courthouse basement project.
Okay.
And next, following Saturday the 13th is the recycling event, tire recycling event, electronics and tires.
I believe there were 5 contractors here that were interested. Four or five, that's good.
Okay, that's all I have.
What was the total on the bills? Do you have that?
No, she didn't put it in there.
Two of those contractors called me and they were concerned that there wasn't enough money to do the project.
After they looked at it?
Yeah. Well, 3. Daniel Loftus, was Daniel Loftus here?
Yeah.
He called too.
What do you think about it, Sean?
I think we'll find out when they turn the bids in.
Turn the bids.
I think right now, they'll fill you up to see if there's some extra money available or not.
You
We've
know,
got the opportunity to form the bid and try to do the work.
you know that's what it's about.
If it all comes in too high, and we rebid the project or change the scope. That's why we had alternates. So, all contractors do that. They know where we're at.
So she presented with all the possibilities, or a couple, that was an alternate budget.
Yeah, she gave me alternatives. She also discussed with them what the budget was. So I think they all know what that number is.
$96,739.51. Other business to come before the commission? I hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Having such a good time.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. One, 1, 3, 4. It's 11 o'clock.